at all. It's made by expediency. No planning, because the contractor is not able to stay on schedule. He's busy trying to make more money. He's busy trying to cut, to reduce the margin, to make more profit for himself. Manufacturers and suppliers are distant from the end products. Like I said earlier, you go out there, you find already preferred materials that you use. Meanwhile, projects are not the same. Not all projects are the same. The peculiarity in the project that you are doing may mean that a particular preferred material will not work for that particular kind of project. And what does that mean? It means that in the industry, if it resorts into an industry that is vilified by clients, the industry cannot attract good investors. The industry can also not attract quality workmen. We find ourselves traveling to Cotonou, going to neighboring countries to find artisans, to bring them in to be able to work, because even our own artisans here are not ready to work, and there are a lot of reasons why they are discouraged from working. The solution that I'm proposing is working collaboratively. If the whole idea is for everybody to have a win-win, and then to have an honest and transparent relationship. You make your profit and I make mine. Then there's nothing wrong in using the collaborative approach in your construction project. Has that been done elsewhere? Done somewhere yet? And the great example of collaborative working is the T5 agreement. I don't know if anyone of us is familiar with the T5 agreement. Terminal 5 each one. Most architects here should be familiar with it. Okay, the T5 agreement there are quite a number of other examples that I can give you as well. And I will tell you the reason why I use the T5 agreement. The T5 agreement is a very, very impressive collaborative approach system that the BAA in UK used to develop the Terminal 5 in UK. A couple of facts that I'll share with you about the T5 agreement, about the T5 project is this, or are here. T5 was expected to cost 4.2 billion between 2002 and 2008. And it was the largest construction site in Europe, employing over 6,500 people. 2 major rivers had to be diverted for the project to be constructed. The main building is about 400 meters long, 480 meters wide, and 443 meters high, which is almost the same height as the Tower Bridge. The project was to allow Heathrow Airport to take an extra 30 million passengers annually, over above the 70 million it was dealing with as at then. However, the project was completed successfully, on schedule and on budget. Why? Because the approach or the system of partnering that the sponsors of the project employed. If you take a look at this slide, you find the traditional approach. Like I said earlier, the traditional approach is that you find the client going out there to find the contractor who can develop his project. He finds a contractor at a fixed lump sum price or a fixed sum price, and then the contractor finds the subcontractors and all of that. The risk is transferred directly to the contractor, from the contractor to the third parties. Meanwhile, if you take a look at the T5 approach, you have the client, you have the contractors coming together to work as an integrated team. The client is willing to provide incentives where necessary for the contractors. And then you find that the risk is transferred to the clients in an atmosphere of trust and transparency. The client is dealing directly with the suppliers, the manufacturers. It's an open book contractual arrangement. You can see what needs to be procured. You can see what the installers are required to install. And also, you can see what all the other parties involved are doing, and thereby have a very open, transparent arrangement. And that's the reason why you find the T5 agreement, the intro terminal 5 successful. What do you have? You find that the T5 is necessary as the project progresses and its success driven. This is the typical arrangement of the T5, the collaborative working that the T5 agreement use. You find the sponsor, the design team, the architect, the project owners, the stakeholders, and every other person as the integrator. You find the partners and the installers and the specialists on the other hand, and then every other person involved is working as a team in an open, transparent approach. What's the benefit? The benefit here is you are able to get consistent quality. You are able to get affordable cost. You are able to get design and technical collaboration. An example of that is the Villa Viaduct project in France. Architects here, you should be familiar with that. The Villa Viaduct project in France is a bridge linking France to Spain. Different architectural organizations were invited to provide design concept. And then the project sponsor saw that and invited all the designers to come together to work together based on the submitted design that the concept was provided. Like having them to have this, have that, have this, look at what you all have done and come up with the best. And that's the reason why you have the Miller Viaduct bridge that the whole world is talking about in France. It was a very successful project, regardless of the little glitches they had at the end of the day. So you are able to get all of this through top-level commitment, openness and trust, long-term relationship, joint improvement initiatives, and effective dialogue. You are able to get a successful project on an open, transparent, trustworthy working relationship environment. And that's what collaborative working is all about. Meanwhile, if you are talking about collaborative working in construction, there are key elements we must understand, and they are very, very important. To deal with stakeholder management in construction projects, we must understand the complexity framework. There is a complexity framework in construction management. And if you really don't understand these frameworks, it will be difficult for you to manage or to implement the collaborative working system or to manage your stakeholder successfully. What are these complexities? The first one is the structural complexity. The second one is the socio-political complexity, and you have the emergent complexity as the third one. The structural complexity are things I'm sure we all used to, where you find funding issue, you find interdependence issue. If the mechanical installer is not laying the sleeve, it's difficult for the other team to be able to, for instance, to place concrete. So if you have delay in that regard, these are what I consider as structural complexity. And this is not just made up by me, because according to a research done at the Cambridge University in UK, the socio-political complexity are divergence of people involved in the project. Divergence of people involved in the project, it could be government, it could be regulatory body, it could be other stakeholders, it could be trade union, professional union, it could be other stakeholders, in your neighborhood. It could be an environmental issue that will spring up and create problem for you along the line. So it is important to understand the complexity in construction management. The third one is the emergent complexity. I call this one unknown. No matter the level of your experience in the construction industry, there are things that may happen along the line while you have a project that you will never expect. I call it unknown. It means it could be as a lack of experience, it could be rising threat from unidentified stakeholders, and so on.